My final prediction. This isn't who I support. By the way, I want to clarify this. This isn't who I support. This is who I think will win. Okay? But this isn't a person that I support or want to win or anything like that. It's who I predict will win. And I predict Donald Trump. Call me Mystic May because I fucking called it. So guys, 2 days ago, it was announced that Donald Trump is the new United States President. Now, I actually made a video yesterday. I was about to upload it, but there's actually been a lot of things that have been happening recently, and I felt as if I need to redo this video, and talk about things that are happening right now. Okay, first of all, before I get into these protests and riots, I want to say this. I want to congratulate the Donald Trump supporters. I want to congratulate Donald Trump personally. Fair play to you, son. Hey, you know what? I don't agree with everything that he says. I also don't agree with a lot of what Hillary said. In fact, there's a lot of what Hillary said that I don't agree with. But fair play to you, Trumpy, son. Fair fucking play to you. You did something that a lot of people said wouldn't happen. I watched the mainstream media. I watched that guy that replaced Jon Stewart, your man Colbert, and a lot of these mainstream news like comedy news guys. And they threw everything at Trump. They said he's not going to win. He's not even going to win the primaries. He ended up winning the primaries. They said he's never going to win the presidency. And he ended up winning the presidency. Actually, whenever Donald Trump came down that elevator, okay, everyone said, this is a publicity stunt. He's not going to really be running for president. Then it found out that he was really running for president. So then all of a sudden he won the primaries. People said he wasn't going to win it. He won the primaries. Then they said, listen, Hillary's going to kill him in the votes. That's it. And lo and behold, Donald Trump is our new United States president. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of stuff that I don't agree with Trump. But I want to say this. Fair play to the Donald Trump supporters and fair play to Donald Trump himself. I have to say, he did a campaign that many of the mainstream media went up against him. I have to admit that a lot of the mainstream media went up against him from all ends, and he still won. In fact, I remember Barack Obama during it was like they have this presidential dinner, and pretty much Barack Obama was laughing at Donald Trump, like, apparently Donald Trump, wants to become the president, ha ha. Yeah, Barack, I bet you're not laughing now, son. Listen. I also want to say this, and I want to say this to the Hillary Clinton supporters. I feel sorry for you guys. Commiserations to Hillary, and commiserations to her supporters. However, I want to say this specifically for the supporters. Not all supporters. Most of the Hillary supporters have actually, they've said, listen, we need it. Donald Trump's our president. You gotta rally behind Donald Trump. But I want to say to those people that are protesting, yes, you have a right to protest, which they do. However, rioting is not gonna help matters. The end of the day, accept the vote. The people have decided that Donald Trump is the new president of the United States. And to those people, please accept it. Because the reason why I say accept it is because what you might end up doing is causing a fucking, almost a social civil war. We've already seen this. I don't know what is happening right now in the past, even this year. But now you have social justice warriors and all these against right-wingers and stuff like that. It's a very complex society that we live in. I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm not, honestly, listen, I'll say this like it is, and I have to say it, I'm more liberal, right? However, recently from everything that I've seen, I'm more to the center now. There's a lot of things that I am, in terms of a liberal stand, what I was maybe a few years ago, because as much as these mainstream guys in fucking television and all have made jokes about this and shit, the fact remains is that the other half of the country doesn't agree with them. And that is why Donald Trump did get to be a president. Rather than rejecting this result, rather than rejecting it, rather than essentially saying, oh, well, fuck Donald Trump, and having things of him hanging him and stuff like that, let's try and come together and essentially try and find a way to make the country better. And what I mean by that is to almost try and take each other's opinions on, because the only way America can be great again is to be together. And if only one half is involved in this and the other half isn't, then you never know what's going to happen. But the fact remains is that, first of all, I honestly believe this. These protesters should not be rioting. If you want to protest, that's fine. Protest peacefully. But for the love of fucking God, do not do rioting. Rioting ain't gonna help anyone here, folks. Alright? It isn't gonna help anyone. Violence isn't gonna help anything. The fact remains is that America has spoken. We have to accept it. Donald Trump is the new United States president. So I want to address that, because I know a lot of people saying, oh, if you're liberal, you must say, well, fuck Trump. No, listen, I have to admit this, okay? And I said this in my last video. One of the main keys, which is something that the mainstream media didn't point out, okay? A lot of the mainstream media didn't point out, is Hillary's no-fly zone. That no-flying zone, for me personally, was the reason why, in many ways, I kind of want Trump to win. Now, I'm not saying, oh, I completely support Trump. Absolutely not, okay? But that no-fly zone was a real kicker for me. Because Hillary, essentially, she wanted to declare war. In many aspects, and I know a lot of you are very, oh no, this is fucking terrible, blah, blah, blah. Essentially, America has avoided war. Essentially, in many results, you know, this has averted the second Cold War, as they've said again. America, unfortunately, and Russian tensions were terrible. Now, I want to speak, before I go into more detail about Donald Trump, let's talk about the world globally. Okay, this summer, Brexit, okay, a vote that many people didn't think was going to happen, it did happen, and then the result that many people didn't think was going to happen, did happen, which means that we're leaving the European Union. And pretty much what we're seeing right now is that the European Union is basically fucked. Because, and this is something that a lot of people, I've seen a lot of, this is why I'm making this video, because a lot of people haven't pointed this out. We still need to wait for France and Germany's elections. And apparently in France and Germany, they're going to be voting right-wing. So basically, in other words, what we're seeing now in terms of Europe and America is, in America, we have a right-wing president. In England, we have a right-wing female prime minister. We could see a right-wing Germany. I'm not saying it's going to be like anything like crazy or anything, but it's going to be more against the European Union, because a lot of people in the European Union, especially in Europe, a lot of people in Europe are very pissed off at the European Union, the way they've handled things. Personally, for me, I felt that maybe, unfortunately, European Union was a little bit pig-headed maybe a few years ago, and this is why. I mean, personally, I thought we were better staying in the European Union. There's a new law being passed that I can't have e-cigarettes this size now. It has to be little tiny ones. They're now making a border between Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland. There's going to be restrictions. The pound is dropping. That was the reason why I wanted to stay in the European Union primarily. It wasn't immigration or anything like that, although I will say that it has become a problem. You know, you can't, you know, with immigration, it's a very fine line. I do believe that maybe we can take certain immigrants from other countries that are resourceful, but opening the floodgates, it's gonna fuck things up, unfortunately, and that's what we've seen, you know, in England and in America, as well as many others. This is the one thing I want to say, is that we're now living in a society that is massively different than what we've expected. And what I mean by that is that America now, Donald Trump, Republican. You have Theresa May, who is conservative. Okay, now there's a chance that who knows that more likely they'll probably get in again unless something drastic happens. But England and America, both right wing. You now have essentially France elections that are coming up, and apparently the rumor is that they're going to be voting for the right wing party. And then you're seeing Germany. Now, if Germany is really the backbone of the European Union. If that falls, pretty much the European Union is fucked right now. Pretty much what the UK did is they literally put a knife in the European Union, and what we're seeing is just it bleeding right now. So this isn't just an American thing, it's a global thing. We're actually seeing a spread of pretty much what Donald Trump's been saying across Europe as well. So it's not just America, it's the whole fucking Europe pretty much. Hence the reason why we've left the European Union. But back to Donald Trump, do I think he's going to be a good president? I think in terms of an industrial standpoint, yes. I feel as if he does have his head on his shoulders when it regards to the industrial system. Donald Trump, what I believe in, and I said this from, like I said, I am to a certain degree liberal or left wing or whatever it might be, but I do believe that we should be producing our own goods. I do believe that we shouldn't be buying things from China, as Donald Trump would say, China. We are essentially countries like China, as well as other countries that are buying products that are really cheap. We're essentially buying it from them rather than making the stuff ourselves. And I think Donald Trump is right in that sense, where he wants to implement that, and I have to say he is correct on that. By the way, another thing, I've seen a lot of people saying that Donald Trump is against gay marriage, or he's against the gays. There's actually a video, if you even look at it, Donald Trump actually wants, he's actually for the LGBT community, or I think it's called now the LGBTQ community or something like that, but pretty much he's for the LGBT community. He is actually for it, believe it or not, because he wants to hold that Western ideology of freedom, essentially. And that is actually something that a lot of people don't get, especially a lot of because the Hillary supporters, unfortunately, they've been seeing the mainstream news, they've been seeing what Hillary's saying. It's not the case. Donald Trump actually does support the LGBT community. Believe it or not, he actually, you can type it in on YouTube. Just type in like Donald Trump LGBT views or whatever. He actually turned around and said, we want to preserve that. He actually wants to preserve it. So, and it is what it is. What my danger is, and like I said, I'm not going to say it's going to happen. What my danger is that Donald Trump might just become another politician. He has got the reins now to go into the White House. The question is, what does he do with that? Is he going to be like any other presidents that have come before him, that have literally said, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and end up not doing it? Or is he actually going to do it? Because, yes, the election was a fought hard battle, but the real battle starts now. And what I do believe is, in America, is that I see a lot of people protesting, and they do have a right to protest, First Amendment and all that there, right? However, I want to say this, is that, is to not be ranting, or, and also accept the vote. I need to say this, accept the vote. You need to accept it. Trump won. You need to accept it. The moment you don't accept this is the moment that your country will fall. And it's unfortunate. Like, what we're seeing right now in the system that we're living in right now is that we're seeing a massive change socially, economically. In many aspects we have completely changed. And I do believe that whether it's for better or for worse, we will find out. I don't think we'll see the full Trump effect, obviously until he gets in. But I would even say 6 months to a year until we can fully judge how Donald Trump really is as a president. Or I would even say 2 years, 3 years. The question is, you know, is he going to be re-elected? Like I said, we don't know. From far as I've been aware, most of the presidents have done the full term and they've gone and stuff like that. It's an interesting time we live in, folks. It's an interesting time. It can be scary for other people. And like I said, I don't want to bash Hillary Clinton supporters that much. You know, it was a far-out battle, but at the end of the day, you have to accept the result. Yes, you can protest this against policies, but don't be rioting. Don't be going fucking buck mad. Don't be going in, like, that is not helping matters, okay? Personally, for me, alright, when I voted to stay in the European Union, okay? I even seen Dark Horse's video, shout out to Dark Horse, and I even commented on Dark Horse's video and I said, I mean, I was in, when we left the European Union, I voted to stay. When we left the European Union, you didn't see me ranting, kicking up a fuss. You know, we had to accept it. We have to accept it. Now apparently, like, there's something going on in the UK. Apparently, like, the High Court isn't passing it or something. It's fucking weird, dude. But at the end of the day, guys, we are seeing the full effect of Brexit here. You guys will see the full effect of Trump within a year. I would say a year, maybe 2 years, to judge exactly how he is as a president. I hope you guys are happy with the choice you've made. Yeah, that's all I really gotta say, guys. I'd like to thank you so much for watching. Like I said, what I believe is that people should have a right to protest. You know, America has a First Amendment, freedom of speech. However, you have to accept the vote. The fact remains, the guy won. And a lot of people are pissed off at what's happened in the past. We have to listen to those people now. We have to listen to both sides and move forward. That's what I believe that we should do. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is General Jerry on the General Jerry channel, signing out. And by the way, guys, I don't know if I'm going to be talking more about this elections or whatever. From starting from maybe next week, I'm going to start doing WWE videos again. And I need to actually, can I briefly talk about this? I'm finding it a very hard time to watch WWE. I'm not going to lie to you. I really am finding it a hard time. I might make a video on that at some point, but I am really finding a hard time to watch World Wrestling Entertainment. I'm actually going to make a video which I think a lot of you guys might enjoy. Maybe a rant video. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. This is General Jerry on the General Jerry channel, signing out.